And so I'll begin by introducing Congressman Grayson, who represents Florida's 9th District. He's an attorney who in the early 90s co-founded an internet and telecom company. He then worked as an attorney specializing in whistleblower fraud cases aimed at Iraq war contractors. He's also our second left-leaning former Scalia clerk to speak tonight. Aaron worked in Congressman Grayson's office as an intern in the wake of the economic crash. So with that, Congressman Grayson, please.
Aaron worked in my office as an intern and had a quality that I found unnerving, which is that he could come up with better things for him to do than I could come up with for him to do. And time again, I would give him something to do, and he'd say, is it okay if I also work on this other thing? And this other thing turned out to be much more important than anything I could come up with. And I learned to live with that. I learned to live with that shortcoming, which I took to be a shortcoming of my own, not one of his. The other unnerving quality that I found in him was the fact that when he would conjure these assignments, they actually came to fruition. An unusual phenomenon here on Capitol Hill. He'd give himself something to do. I recognized that it was very worthwhile. I let him do it, and it got done. He was a remarkable human being. Another thing that I found unnerving but also very endearing about Aaron was that Aaron wanted to rock the boat. Now, we all hear from a very, very young age, don't rock the boat. And I would venture to say that of the 2,000 languages spoken on the planet, probably every single one of them has an idiom in that language for the term, don't rock the boat. And yet, Aaron wanted to rock the boat, not just for the sake of boat rocking, but for the sake of improving the lives of ordinary people. And that's a beautiful, wonderful quality. We're talking about somebody here who helped to create Reddit, an important worldwide service, at the age of 19. Honestly, somebody who probably could have spent the rest of his life in bed ordering pizzas and leaving it at that. And yet he didn't. He continued to strive to do good. Good as he saw it. And that's a rare quality in people. Many of us, we just have to do our best to get through the day. That's the way it is. Many of us struggle to do that. Very few of us actually can think big thoughts and make them happen. Aaron was one of those rare people. And he was willing to take the heat for rocking the boat. Now, you know, sometimes when you rock the boat tries to rock you. And that's exactly what he encountered, right up until the end. And it's a sad thing that that's the price that you have to pay. For some of us who rock the boat, we end up losing our property. For some of us who rock the boat, we end up losing our freedom. For some of us who rock the boat, we end up losing our families, and in Aaron's case, his life. And yet, he was willing to face the facts and to let that happen, to keep striving, to keep struggling, to keep trying to shake things up. Aaron's life reminded me about a different life that came to the same end. It's the life of Alan Turing, a brilliant mathematician who lived in England, was born 100 years ago. Alan Turing was the greatest mathematician of the 20th century. He not only invented the Turing machine, which is the basis for all modern computing, but Alan Turing also broke the Nazi codes during World War II and allowed the English and the Americans to defeat the Nazis. And you would think that someone like that would be cherished. Someone like that who, if he'd managed to have a full life, might have won 1 or 2 or 3 Nobel Prizes. But in fact, he was vilified because he was a homosexual, which at that point in England in those days was illegal. And I'm sure that at that point in England in those days, there were people who said, well, the law is the law. And if you disobey the law, then you should go to prison. And because of that, because his boyfriend turned him in, Alan Turing was convicted of perversity, sentenced to prison, given the choice between spending hard time, years and years of his life, in prison instead of doing the mathematics that he loved, or alternatively to accept estrogen injections. Well, he took the estrogen injection choice, and that broke not only his body, but his mind. And he found that he couldn't do the thing he loved the most, mathematics, any longer. So after 2 years of this, Alan Turing committed suicide. And who lost out of that? Well, Alan Turing lost, but so did all of we. We lost as well. All of us who would have benefited from that first and second and third Nobel Prizes that Alan Turing had in him, and that Aaron Swartz had in him. We're the ones who lose. If we let our prejudices, our desires to restrain those with creativity, if we let that lead us to the point where that is restrained, then going back all the way to the time of Socrates, what we engage in is human sacrifice. We sacrifice their lives out of the misguided sense that we need to protect ourselves from them, when in fact it's the opposite. Our lives have meaning. Our lives have greater meaning from the things that they create. So we're here today to remember Aaron and also to try to learn from the experience, to understand that prosecution should not be persecution. This morning I reached into the closet, randomly took out this tie and wore it. And I have a sense that sometimes things are connected in ways that aren't exactly obvious. It happens that this tie is a painting of Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, someone else whose life ended all too soon. And in Don McLean's song about Vincent van Gogh, it ends this way. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never will. It's time to listen.